Hi everyone, this is Katie the Novel Stitcher. It is Sunday, October 30th, and this is Flosstube number 5. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for checking my channel out. I hope you will enjoy this video and enjoy what I have to share for stitching and for reading. And please consider subscribing if you have not subscribed yet. That way you'll just get a notification when I post new videos. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for spending time with me again today. I really appreciate it. I love reading the comments. I really appreciate all the kind thoughts. In my last video, I showed a fully finished piece that I'm going to gift to my aunt. So many kind comments about that, and I love hearing what you're stitching and what you're reading. So please feel free to comment. I want to be able to respond to all of your comments. I want to know what you're stitching and reading, and you know, how your fall is going. Also, if you want to, please tell me what area of the country or the world that you live in. It's fun to see where everyone is from. I'm in southeastern Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia. Beautiful weather. Our sports teams are doing pretty good. The Eagles, I was just watching some of the Eagles games. Seems like they're winning against the Steelers, and the Phillies lost last night, but they're still in it. You know, there's quite a few more games in the World Series to go, so we'll see how things go, but really exciting atmosphere right now in the sports world, and beautiful fall weather. So I've got a lot to share today, and I'm so excited. Though first I do want to thank Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot for her kind shout out. I had mentioned her in a previous video, and she gave me a nice mention in her video this week. Really kind of her. If you haven't checked her out, please do. She has some really beautiful stitching. And then also making things with string. That's Kate. She is, I think, newer to Flosstube. I think she also has only around 5 episodes. She has some really nice cross-stitch pieces to share, and she also knits. I dabbled in knitting, but I'm not so great at it. But she makes some really cute things. She was knitting up some socks, I think she was showing in her last episode. So it's really fun to watch cross-stitchers who also dabble in other kind of crafts, other needlework or other crafts that involve floss and yarn and all of that. So check out Making Things with String. So life update, and I'm gonna probably take a lot of tea today. Have a little bit of a scratchy throat. What do you like to drink? Tea, coffee, water, soda? I'm a morning coffee drinker, and then in the afternoons I drink tea. Probably my tea drinking came from studying abroad in Ireland in college. I didn't drink tea before then, but you go over there and you're there for 6 months and their coffee is not good. Or not great, in my opinion. Sorry if you're Irish and I just missed the boat on the good coffee, but I was not able to find very good coffee. And even in the little student housing or student apartments they set us up in, they had an electric kettle. They did not have a coffee maker. So I became a tea drinker while I was there. And so this is Earl Grey, mostly like black tea, but I'll try any kind of tea. And I take it without milk, but with a good amount of sugar. I like my stuff sweet. So that's what I'm drinking today. Life update, last weekend, one of my really good friends got married. I lived in DC for about a little under 10 years before I moved to Pennsylvania. I moved here 2 years ago, or a year and a half, well, 2 years, a year and a half ago. I moved here, it was pandemic time, like what? So I moved here about a year and a half ago. Before that, I was living in the Washington, D.C. area. And so one of my friends I met while I was in D.C., who I'm still really close to, got married in Delaware this weekend. So my boyfriend and I went down, saw some of my other girlfriends from D.C., and we're all kind of living in different places. Some are actually living in Philadelphia or Pennsylvania now, and some are still in Washington. So it's kind of nice that we're all near each other still, but we've all kind of moved to different parts of the area. So it was a beautiful wedding. We had a really good time. The venue looked out on the water and was near the beach. I will put a picture of me and my boyfriend in our wedding best. So yeah, we had a good time. And this weekend was just relaxing and enjoying the fall foliage. We went on some hikes. And just had a really nice time. So it's been a good fall. And I'm also really excited because my parents are moving back up. I'm originally from New Jersey, and about 6 years ago, they decided to retire down to South Carolina. They just wanted to change of pace. They wanted to try something different in their retirement. They really liked it down there. They had a lot of fun. I loved being able to visit them somewhere new. We went to Savannah, we went to Charleston. We went a few times to Asheville, North Carolina, which is not so far. So it was really fun seeing different parts of the country. I hadn't explored the South much, so it was really nice to see them kind of trying something new and getting out of New Jersey and doing something different. But I think the pandemic has made us all kind of reevaluate where we want to be and what we want to be doing and what matters to us. And I think they really were missing my brother and I and feeling the distance, especially in that time. Billy's in New York City, and now I'm here in Pennsylvania. So they are moving to Delaware, which they always kind of had planned on doing. They weren't planning on staying in South Carolina for the rest of, for a super long time. And so they felt that the time was right to come back up here. So excited to have them close. They'll be like 2.5 hours away, so I will get to see them all the time. They are two of my most favorite people in the world. They are amazing parents, and so it'll be really nice to have them close by. Okay, enough about me and my life. Let's talk about some stitching. So now we're gonna talk about my life again, because this next one, which I'm gonna show a picture here. First, I'm gonna say this is for my brother. It's for his birthday. So Billy, if you're watching, stop watching. I don't want you to get spoiled. This will be to you next week. So if you really want to watch this episode, which I don't know if he watches all of my Flosstubes. I mean, he knows about it and he created my little logo at the beginning, but I mean, he doesn't cross stitch, so it is okay if he does not watch them. But in case he is watching this one, look away, Billy. So this was a dimensions kit. I'm showing a picture because it is in the mail on the way to New York City. But he likes Star Wars, so I saw this kit in one of the craft stores and I thought it was cute. It gives you the option to stitch 10 of the different Star Wars characters, so I didn't tell him what I was doing. I just sent him the list and said pick the 4 you like best, and so he picked these 4. And so I stitched them up, and I got the board from Michael's. It's just a little black board on a string. I put it on sticky board with a green background and some ribbon and the ribbon at the top, and I think it's pretty cute. You can hang it, you know, in his apartment or at his desk at work or whatever. So it's fun to stitch for people, and it's hard to know, especially with older brothers, like it's hard to know what to buy him, and so to just be able to make him something small. And I sent him a little gift card too, but that was fun to do. So that is my first fully finished object. Oh, and run of show. So I have one more FFO. I will do one start. I have some whips, lots of plans. Then I will do the giveaways. From last week we had giveaways, so I will announce the winners to that. And then I'll do a few shout outs, and then we'll get into the bookish content. So that's the run of show. And so my next fully finished one, you'll remember this one because you'll have seen this, is Two Pumpkins Bright by Hellow from Mathews. So I think this turned out pretty cute. Again, this is just on 18 count Aida, and I used all her called for DMC to stitch that one. I found this again at Michael's. They have, you know, really great stuff for finishing. This was just in there. They have like an unfinished wood section with different signs and things that you can paint, or like various kind of chalkboard things. So I got that in that section. I got this fabric as part of like a Halloween bundle at Joann's. And then I made this ribbon. Again, not good at ribbons, and I did this, and I knew I was gonna put it on here and use like fabric from the bundle, and then the top just looked bare, and I was like, it needs some sort of embellishment. It can't just be this on the board. It's a little plain. And so I had some orange ribbon, but I have no idea how to make bows. So I watched a YouTube video where you cut the ribbon and you actually fold these over and you glue it all together. And I think it turned out pretty cute. I think it worked. These are a little bit raggedy, but that's okay. I'm learning, so I think that's pretty cute. And I had these from Michael's. I used it on one of my other finishes, so I used it again there. Because you glue all these together, you needed to put something in the middle or it would look messy. So yeah, that's Two Pumpkins Bright. And I can just, you know, stand it up in my apartment. And the bookshelf behind me So I turn the table when I do a floss tube so I get the natural light. It makes it easier to see the stitching. But normally this is directly behind me when I'm working, when I work from home on Mondays. And tomorrow is Halloween. And so I'm gonna put that on the top of the bookshelf, maybe where the that's hard to do, where the pumpkin is. Because I do a lot of, I'm in a lot of meetings, and so people can see my background. And so I think it'll be nice to have some Halloween-y things on Halloween. I'm like tempted to dress up. I don't actually have a costume, but I do have Maleficent, like Mickey Mouse ears from when I went to Disney World a few years ago. So like I might wear those, but I don't know if anyone else is gonna be like wearing anything. So I might wait till after my first meeting or two. And if other people are kind of like dress fun, I don't know. There's no, like when you're working from home, I don't work from home every day, but Monday and Friday I do. I don't know if people would dress up if they're just home, no party or anything. So, you know, people probably dress up if they're going into the office, but not if they're sitting at their computer. But I like Halloween. It's fun. I'm even tempted to like play music, like when I enter into one of the meetings to have like Monster Mash playing. I don't know how that'll go over though, so maybe not, but it would be funny. And so those are my fully finished objects. So 2 is pretty good, I think. And so the next I have one little start. And this is actually a freebie, so I'm gonna put it right there. This is from Hands On Design, and it's free on their website. So I can put I'll put a link to their website below, and you can find their freebie section so you can see their other cute patterns too. But I saw Jessica at Sweetwater Stitcher stitching this one and thought it was really cute. I don't have any finished Christmas since I wasn't stitching last Christmas, and so I want to have a few smaller things that I can put around my apartment just to have some finished Christmas pieces. So I'm trying to look at the camera. It's over here. So if I'm looking away, it's just because the iPhone camera is on the side, and I wish it was like in the middle, but it's not. Anyway, this is my progress so far. So not much, but just the word Merry and then the little berries. I'm just doing this on a 18 count platinum Aida that I had in stash. And I am using DMC. I am just picking from stash from what I have, so I'm using the same kind of colors. I think the Mary is in brown, and I decided to do it in red, but just picking what reds and greens that I had in stash. So I think that will turn out pretty cute. Just something small and simple. And it's free, which is nice. So the next whip I have is Fall is in the Air. This was the Stitch Quarterly from Fat Quarter Shop pattern. Came with like a bag, the fabric, the floss, a needle minder, little things to hold your cloth back on a hoop or a Q-snap, and the pattern. And yeah, it's a nice little box to get in the mail. And this pattern is now available on Fat Quarter Shop's website. So if you just want the pattern, it's an It's So Emma pattern, and you can find that on Fat Quarter Shop. So some good progress. I wanted to finish this one, but I didn't, but that's okay. So last time I had all of this done and most of the fox and a little bit of this. So I finished him out with his tail, and then I did this part, and then this branch here and this branch there. So I think it's coming along pretty cute. It's not hard to stitch. It's an easy stitch, obviously. It's pretty simple. So I just need to dedicate some time to it over the next 2 weeks to finish it. I'm trying to, like, I know I finish things a lot. People are like, wow, you stitch a lot. But A, it's because I have 2 things, well now 3, but 3 things sitting in my apartment that are finished cross stitch. So, you know, being so new to it, you just want to finish a lot of stuff because you don't have anything to display or to show or to decorate with. So I think that's one of the reasons. Sports help, you know, Phillies, Eagles games, they're pretty long, so you can just sit there and stitch and watch the game. So I just have to finish the rest of this tree, the words, and the little leaf at the bottom. So I will finish that and have that as probably not a fully finished object, but a finished piece or a finished stitch piece in 2 weeks. I think I might frame it. I think it's a little bit too big to put on some sort of board or something like that. And I haven't framed anything that I've kept for myself. So I might frame this one if I can find a frame that I like and if it'll fit in a frame. So that's cute. So that is Fall is in the Air. And then the next one is Ho 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 by Trellis and Thyme. Let me grab my board because this is black, so. There we go. So not a ton done on this one, but it's cute. This will be easy to finish. Again, it's just I was focusing on my brother's birthday present and then finishing 2 pumpkins. So, but this one, I might be able to just finish this tonight. We'll see how I feel. Or maybe I'll stitch it during the Phillies game tomorrow night. The next game is tomorrow. But I finished Santa and I have 1 hoe and a little bit of a start on another hoe and some of the snowflakes. And I am doing a 28 count even weave, and I am using colors from Stash. So again, I'm using similar colors, similar reds and greens, and there's some blues and pinks that'll come in. Oh, here's the pattern because it's digital. I gotta remember to do that. I always remember to insert them, but I don't think I always remember to mention like this is a digital pattern. So that's why I didn't show you the pattern. But that's gonna be cute. That'll be a cute little finish. And I think I'm gonna try a flat fold. So that's when you like use sticky board and it almost kind of just stands like the 2 pumpkin sprite board that I have. You just make it yourself and you use ribbon for the bottom to help it stand. I know a lot of people do like little flat folds and there's a lot of tutorials. So I think I saw one from Fat Quarter Shop from a while back. So I might use their tutorial. They have some pretty good ones. But there's probably a lot of tutorials out there that show you how to do that. I've never done one before, so I thought that this would be a good piece to do my first flat fold on, because if I somehow mess it up or like muck up the stitching or something goes wrong, it's a simple enough pattern to either stitch again or save for next year. It's just a little one, so that's good for practice. I wouldn't want to do that on something you spent a lot of time on and then, you know, have the chance of doing something wrong. So that I will try a flat fold. And then my last whip, I did pretty good progress on this one actually. This is 5th Day of Christmas by Hellow from Mathew. And I think it's coming along pretty well. I like that one. So this is a 28 count even weave. And I think someone had asked me what I do with 28 count even weave. So this is 2/2, which I don't think I've been saying, but I think everything I've shown except for 2 pumpkin sprite, I think has been 2/2. Fall is in the Air is 2/2. I think the Merry one is, the Merry is 2/2, but the berries are 1/1 because I thought the berries would be too much to be 2/2. But I'll put it in the description if you're curious about that. I'm still learning myself what I like on what counts, so that I'm still experimenting with. So I did tell the person who asked that I do 2/2 for 28, and I think that's probably what most people do. I think 1/2 would be too much and 1/1, I don't know. Yeah, I think it would, I don't know. I'm still learning, so if you ask me what I do, I'll be like, I do this, but I don't know if that's what everyone else would do. But I think that's right, 2/2 on 28 count, I think is what you most often see. So anyway, 5th Day of Christmas, Hello from Liz Matthews. She will be doing all 12 days of Christmas. I don't know what number she's at right now. I don't think I will be stitching all 12 days. I don't even know if I'll do more than just this one, but I really, really love this one. I thought it was really pretty. It'll say peace. Oh yeah, PDF, picture. That's what it'll look like when it's done. I do want to finish this before Christmas, so that is a goal. So last time I had finished like some or most of this hoop, but this upper part had not been done. And so I did all of the letters except for the P. These are rice stitches. I don't know if I did those right. I don't know if you could even tell anyway, but I just found like a diagram online. I just Googled rice stitch, and so I think they look good. So I don't know if I did it right or wrong, but because they don't look exactly like it looks on hers, but she might be doing 1/1 on a higher count, so that might be why. But anyway, I think it's coming along really cute. I think it's going to be a good one for Christmas, but also a little bit into the new year because it's not super Christmassy. I do have a bit more to go. Like, it's not going to be too much, but there is like some like more confetti kind of stitching up here for the sky. And then there's like more of the border down here, and then even above that there's like a black border. So it's going to be a bit more stitching, but I'm really enjoying stitching on this one. I think it's just coming along really cute, and I want to frame it, I think, in like a silver or gold frame. I think she put it in a silver frame, or no, she put it in a gold frame, so I'll see what I like. I like silver better than gold, but we'll see what I can find. So that is 5th day of Christmas, and hopefully that will be done. Probably I'll stitch that all of November and hope to finish it at the end of November so I can fully finish it and have that up for display. So that is my FFOs, my start, and my whips. So next we are going to get into plans, because I have a lot of plans because I want to stitch all of the Christmas and do all of the things and stitch all of the things, which I think all of us do, but especially me as a new stitcher. So one of my plans is to go to the Jingle Ball, and the Jingle Ball is like a virtual, I wouldn't say it's a retreat, I guess a virtual event being put on by a whole bunch of stitchers or pattern designers, a whole bunch of designers whose names I did not write down, so I'm sorry, but you can go on their website. I'll put a link in the description. I know Lindy Stitches is doing a lot on Instagram around it, so she's one of the designers, but it is a virtual event starting, I think, December 2nd or whatever that weekend is. I think it's the 2nd. It's $10, and I think this is the first year they're doing it, and I think Lindy even said, I don't think her name is Lindy, but she's Lindy Stitches. She even said that, like, it's hard to imagine what it'll be like, but it's like a virtual kind of event space that you go into, and the designers will have a little shops. So you can go in to their shop and buy exclusive patterns for the Jingle Ball, as well as I think some of their other patterns, probably all holiday themed. And then there will be other rooms you can enter where probably basically you're entering into a Zoom with other stitchers. They might be themed, I'm not sure, but you can enter and chat with other stitchers and just stitch and sit and chat via video conference. I think there's gonna be a stage, and I think that some of the designers probably have other talents besides just designing patterns and cross stitch, so maybe they can sing or tell jokes, or I don't know what kind of things will be put on, but that'll be going on, so you can go and check out the events that are going on. There are some classes, there's some paid classes. I think they might be all sold out. They sold out the original set of classes, and then they added more, and I think those might be, at this point, I would assume they might be sold out too. I'm not gonna do any of the classes because there was an extra fee, and those can be a little bit pricey, so I'm not gonna do those, but I'm excited. It should be fun. I don't really know what to expect, but for $10 to check out like a little virtual cross-stitching event should be pretty cool. And they did say that it is going to be held overnight, like it won't stop, like the party goes all night. And so I think if you're international, you can also join in, because it'll be going Friday night into Saturday, and it won't stop. So you can kind of log in at whatever hour, you know, works best for you, no matter where you live. So I think that's a cute idea too. I mean, we'll see what I'm gonna be doing that weekend, but it would be kind of fun to like hop in at 1 a.m. and just see what's going on at that hour. So yeah, it's a cute thing. I like this community where even like designers and shops and different people like hold events for us and create like this really fun community, and give us ways to connect with each other and kind of share in this love together, which is kind of cool because I don't have any stitchy friends in real life yet. But another plan, and this is a year away, is to make some stitchy friends, because I am going to a retreat. So I'm going to the Sweatha Weatha retreat. It's being held by Colleen. She is Rebel Stitcher. I'll put her website and her information in the description as well. But I think you can probably still register. It is next fall. It is literally a year from now, I think. It's I don't know what the dates are in a year. It's the 28th, 29th, around there. It'll be in Philadelphia. So for me, really close, a local retreat over a weekend. I'm not sure all that Colleen has planned, but it'll be fun. I'm excited. I'm sure there'll be stitching. There'll probably be some, you know, stuff to buy, a little section, a little shop or a little section where you can buy patterns and stitchy things. I'm sure there'll be vendors that she'll invite and have come and sell their wares at. So it'll just be nice to check out a retreat and to see if I can meet some people. So if you're interested in that, again, I'll put the information, I'll link to Colleen's website in the description, and you can check that out if you might want to attend. It's interesting to get excited about something a year from now. I don't think I've ever probably registered for something like that. That's like so far away, but it'll be here before we know it, and I'm really excited. So yeah, so those are like activity plans and then stitching plans. So I have a lot of things I want to stitch, and again, mostly all Christmas, because tomorrow's Halloween, and after tomorrow I will revert to Christmas mode. Thanksgiving's great, but I love Christmas. So the first thing, I want your opinion on this one. So I definitely want to stitch this from Country Cottage Needleworks, Silent Night. I just think that's really pretty. I like the little church and the snow. All of their patterns are just, they're so cute, and it's pretty simple. So I'm hoping it won't take too long to stitch. I don't have haul this episode, as it's in the mail. I ordered a few things from 123 Stitch with my gift card that I got for my birthday. And I also got a little Visa gift card as a reward for doing good on a project at work. It's nice that they occasionally reward you like that. And so I used that money to buy some stitchy things. So one of the things I bought was White Lightning. The church is Weeks Dye Works White Lightning. And so I'm gonna do the rest as just DMC, but I like the variegation in the church. It's like a white and gray. Hopefully you can kind of see that on screen. So that will be coming in the mail, and I need help picking a fabric. So I have two options. So I have 36 count pearl. I just got this at my LNS, so I don't know who it's by or anything. It's just, and hopefully it shows up pretty true. It's just a gray. It's just a nice shiny gray. So I need help picking the fabric. So that's that one. Now, I guess the question is, and I should have put the floss on top of it, is the white gonna show up? But I think it will. And so let me know what you think of that 36 count. And so this is done on blue, so I do have blue fabric, but it's a bit of a bright blue. So I have 32 count Dove Lugana, and I think I got this from 123 Stitch. I have quite a lot of this. I got a really big, I don't think I realized how much I was ordering of this, but that was what I used with the first part of my gift certificate. So I got the blue, and then there's that. I don't know, I'm thinking I do like the blue. Is it darker than it's showing up on screen? I don't think so, a little bit. It's a little bit darker, a little bit. So this is a little bit lighter than this, but I think the blue would be nice. So let me know, blue or pearl gray, which fabric? And this is 36, so it'll be a little bit smaller. And then this is 32. The size doesn't matter to me too much, but I will be working on that one the minute White Lightning comes in, which should be midweek this week. So let me know which fabric I should start on that with. And then the other one, I want to start, I don't know if I'll finish this by Christmas, but I'm gonna start it because it's a stitch along, and I did one stitch along with Nicole Spohr. That was Welcome Autumn, showed that in my first episode. And stitch alongs are fun, and then you get to like share and see what other people are stitching and maybe have a chance to interact with others. So the stitch along is being held by the Cornhusker State Stitchers. I'm gonna check my notes to make sure it's not just Cornhusker Stitchers. I think it's state. Yes, Cornhusker State Stitches. They are a mother-daughter duo, Jamie and Terry. They are also on Flosstube, so give them a look. They stitch some really cool stuff, and they stitch some of the same stuff and some stuff that's like wildly different, which I kind of like. Different yet similar styles, and they're really fun. I really love to watch them. I think they recently decided to open a little Etsy shop too, so they're selling patterns and things. So yeah, Cornhusker State Stitchers, check them out, and they are doing a sale for Christmas Rules. So this is Christmas Rules by Primrose Cottage Stitches. I love Primrose Cottage, and I've only done Welcome Autumn by them. So I definitely want to be stitching more. And so that's really cool. Christmas rules are deck the halls. I want to do that with my stitching. Drink hot chocolate. Hot chocolate fan for sure. Hang your stocking. I don't know if I'll hang stockings. I don't have a fireplace, but stockings are cool. Build a snowman. We'll see how much snow we get. Spread joy. Definitely always wanting to spread joy. Go sledding. I've been sledding. Yeah, sledding's fun. When I was a kid, I went sledding and believe. So that's really cute. And so they're gonna split it up. It's on their Instagram and probably on their most recent YouTube video as to how they're gonna split it up. I do know that they are starting this weekend, so I might start this tonight. And I think they're gonna do each section every week up until Christmas. And so to have it done by Christmas. So we'll see if I keep up, because it would be fun to have this done by Christmas, but then it might not be fully finished. We'll see how fast I can stitch. So I'm gonna be doing Christmas Rules by Primrose Cottage Stitches as well. And I'm gonna be doing it on, I think they have it on a gray here. They're called for, or what they used is a 14 count pewter gray. But one of the patterns that I got at that sidewalk sale for my LNS came with fabric. And so one of the reasons I picked it up is because it just had a piece of fabric stuck in the back, and it had 35 written on the sheet. So I think that on the pattern. So I think this is a 35 count, but I don't know what it is. It's just a beige. But it's big enough because they had the pattern, and I had just watched the Cornhusker State Stitchers like the day before, and I saw the pattern at the LNS. So I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna buy it. I think I'm gonna do the stitch along. And then this was in one of the other patterns, and this is long. Like, you need a big piece of fabric to do this one. It is, like, if it's a 28 count, it's 21 inches, 32 count, 18 inches long, 36, 16, so this is 35. So I needed a big piece of fabric, so I think that'll work. I mean, I like the gray, but I'm sure the reds and the greens will look fine on a basic beige. So that's another one that I want to do. And then I have two plans that are kind of like in the next 2 months and beyond. And so one of them, and this is part of the haul that I will be getting in the mail from 123 Stitch, is a piece of fabric for this pattern that I've seen like everyone stitching, and I get so jealous because I think it is so pretty. And this is Winter Rose Manor by Brenda Gervais. And it just looks so pretty stitched up. I just love the pink house. I have not stitched a house yet. I love just all of the designs. I haven't stitched something like this yet. More traditional, primitive, I don't know. I wouldn't call it a sampler, but it's got sampler-esque vibes to it. So I just think that's so pretty, and I bought this over the summer when I was really starting to learn about different designers and get into more than just like Etsy patterns or what I could find at Michael's. And I just thought this was so pretty, but I needed fabric, and it's wintry, but it's not Christmassy. So my plans for this one are to stitch it starting after Christmas. So the week between Christmas and New Year's, and then beyond, because it's wintry, but it's not overly wintry, and it's not, you know, Christmassy. So I think it's a good winter project, because once Christmas is over, I don't think I'm gonna wanna keep stitching Christmas. I think I'm gonna be done. Once the holidays are over, you're like a little sad that Christmas is over. So I think this will get me excited not excited for the holiday to be over, but it'll give me something to distract me from the holidays being over. So I have like a summer khaki coming in. I think it's a 36 count coming from 123 Stitch. I think it'll be a good color. This is think it's Brenda's Brew. It's a R&R. Brenda's Brew by R&R Reproductions. Hard to find, pricey, beautiful fabrics. R&R, a lot of people stitch on them and I think they're really pretty, but just not for me right now. And I had trouble finding it and I didn't want to spend $30 on a piece of fabric. So hopefully the summer khaki will be nice. And these are the flosses, which I got when I got the pattern over the summer. These are just really pretty. They are a combination of Week Style Works and Classic Colorworks. And I decided to get the flosses, the fancy flosses for this one because I'll probably get fancy floss a little bit more sparingly, but for a pattern as like beautiful as this one, I just wanted to use her called for the fancy floss because, you know, I think you pick a special pattern to make sure you're to be a bit more pricey with the nicer floss, and this is one of those patterns. It's fun. Fancy floss is fun. These are beautiful. And I've never used Classic Colorworks. It's really nice. I have some weeks, but yeah. So there's one more stitching plan. I don't have any materials for this yet. So there's a Flosstuber, Hygge Stitcher, H-Y-G-G-E. I think I spelled it right. Hygge is like is it a Polish term? It's a term for like just being warm and comfy and cozy and, you know, in your happy place. And I did not write down her name, so apologies. I don't know what her name is. That's why I'm Katie the Novel Stitcher, because then everybody will always know my name. But Hygge Stitcher, I don't know her name. I'll put her Flosstube name and her actual name below because I feel bad that I forgot to write that down. But she lives in Canada and decided that on the first snow she was going to start Spring Quaker by Lila's Studio. And I thought it was just beautiful. I'm gonna put it here because it's on its way in the mail to me. It's just such a pretty pattern and I really like the idea of stitching something on the first snow of the season that's all about spring. Winter is not my favorite. I love Christmas. I love the holidays. I love this time of year through January 1st, and then I want it to be spring. Not big on snow, don't like being cold. So I'm gonna stitch this one, Spring Quaker, on the first day of snow in southeastern Pennsylvania. So we'll see when it snows here. Hopefully not too soon, first of all. I don't want to get snow in November. Snow in December is nice, but lately I just don't think it's been snowing here in December. Global warming, I kind of think, is a culprit of later snows. So it might not snow till January. We'll see when the first snow is, but I have the fabric coming in the mail. I just picked like an antique ivory. I think it'll look nice for this pattern. And then the pattern, and I will just use DMC for this one. So I'll use her called for DMC. And so whatever day it snows, probably not in the next 2 weeks, I would hope, but whatever day it snows, I will start stitching on that and I'll show the actual pattern and the fabric and everything next week. So those are my plans, kind of end of year plans through the end of the year into possibly next year if it doesn't snow till January. So I have the giveaways. This video might be a bit long. Hope that's okay. So giveaway number 1 is the Dimensions Sorceress with everything in it. And that one is going to Cat Crazy Creations. So Cat Crazy Creations, number 1. And I forgot to tell you what to do. I'm a little out of it today. So if you win a giveaway, I want you to email me your address. My email is novelstitcher@gmail.com. I'll put it below here and I'll put it in the description. So email me your address. You have to be 18 or older, so hopefully all of the winners are 18 and up. Email me your address within 2 weeks, by like November 11th or 12th. Please email me your address because that's when I'll film my next video. So I'll give you those 2 weeks to get back to me. I know not everyone will have time to watch this, but at least in the next 2 weeks, I'll see if you get back to me maybe if someone isn't able to, I'll remind them, but hopefully everybody will. So in the next 2 weeks, by November 11th or 12th, please email me with your address and I will get your giveaway out in the mail to you within the following week or so, whenever I can make it to the post office, but usually not too big of a deal for me to get to the post office. So again, mentions number 1, this goes to Cat Crazy Creations. So email me and you'll get your beautiful little kit. Number 2 is Nan Davis. Nan Davis, you, number 2, you get the Bushland Quaker. It's a really pretty pattern, so congrats. And then number 3 is the Bent Creek Snowman, some assembly required. So cute, so cute. Number 3 goes to Pat Stockmeyer. Pat Stockmeyer, number 3. And then number 4, this is the really cool Scarlet Letter Sampler. This one goes to Pauline Dean. Pauline Dean. Okay, so everybody, congrats. Thank you for entering. That's so fun. Maybe I'll put some little extras in each envelope and just email me your address and hopefully I can get that out to you. If you email me your address, you know, if you watch this and are able to get me your address sooner, then the next 2 weeks, I'll try to get the post office, maybe this coming weekend if I hear from you this week, and start getting those out. So thank you so much. No giveaways for me this week, but I will try to do them maybe once a month. Obviously for giveaways, a lot of my patterns are digital right now just because it's a little cheaper and I want things and I just get them digitally because then you just have them. So I don't have a ton of patterns that like I've used, finished, and will re-gift or give away. And then if I do other stuff, I'm spending the money on it, which is not a problem. I'm happy to buy a few things and be able to do giveaways because it's fun and I like treating people. Like that's something that brings me joy, is like giving gifts and treating people to things and making people's day when you get a surprise in the mail or you hear on a video that you won something. But I'll just have to figure out the budgeting for that. So probably once a month I'll have, you know, a handful of patterns that I can give away because that's fun. And then shout outs. Again, I mentioned at the top of the video, making things with string. Kate, give her a watch. Sweetwater Stitcher, Jessica, she's the one who was stitching that hands-on design. Did I say the name of that one? I hope I did. Berries in Bloom with the Mary. Give Jessica a watch. She has some really beautiful stitching that she does. She does really pretty finishing too. She does a lot of stitching. She has a lot of great things going. So definitely check Jessica's channel out, Sweetwater Stitcher. I mentioned the Cornhusker State Stitchers. That's Jamie and Terry. They're the ones who are doing the Christmas Rules Sal. So if you want to join, check them out. Even if you don't want to join, they have amazing stitching. They did not a whip parade, but I think either a kit or a pattern parade not too long ago, and that was a lot of fun. You just have like your pen and your notebook and you're like writing down all these amazing patterns that they have. So check them out. And then one I didn't mention yet that I would highly recommend is Yasmin's Made with Love. So Yas, she does beautiful stitching, and she does a lot of Barbara Anna, but she does a lot of other things too. I would say for her, she's one of the more unique stitchers. She does patterns that I haven't seen on other Flosstube channels, things that are a bit more unique or more diverse. And I just think her channel's a joy to watch. So that's Yasmin's Made with Love. And all of these Flosstubes will be put in the description too, if it's easier for you to go over there, and I'll link them and you can go straight from the description and it'll link over to their channels. So check all of them out. So that's, I think, all I have for the stitching. So that was pretty good, 43 minutes. This might be my longest video yet. Hopefully I mentioned all of the pattern names and the designers and the fabrics. I'm still getting used to remembering everything. Like while you're just talking, you don't have time to like pause and be like, did I write down all the details or did I say what I thought I said? So please forgive if I forgot anything, but I will try to be really good about putting everything into the description too. I'm a little tired today, so I might be a little bit off, but I think it went okay. I think we're good. So yeah, Tell me what you're stitching. Tell me what you're reading. I will get into books in just a minute here. Tell me where you're from, where you're located, and thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing if you'd like to continue to see what I'm stitching and the progress that I'm making. And if you ever want to do like a stitch along, let me know. If you want to join one of the ones I'm doing, that'd be great too. All right, so if you're not into books, you're not a big reader, you don't have time to read, totally get it, no worries. Head on over to the next Flosstube and I will see you all in probably about 2 weeks. And if you are a reader, stick around because let's talk books. Not 2 books to share. So I did finish Less. I spoke about this in my last couple videos. This was a reread. I read this probably around when it came out, but I'm not gonna remember how long ago it was. 3, 4, 5 years. Really cute book. Definitely a lot of fun on the reread. I had forgotten about some of the silly situations he gets himself into, some of the fun humor, but also some of the more poignant parts of this book, just about, you know, figuring yourself out, about love, about the kind of shared experiences we all have, you know, all the struggles, and things that we go through as people that, you know, this character kind of goes through. And I really enjoyed that. And I don't have the book on the table with me. It's over there. I forgot to grab it. But the reason I reread Less is because there is a sequel called Less is Lost. Just came out this year, a couple months ago. Again, it's along the similar lines where in Less, he wants to get away from his ex-boyfriend's wedding. He got invited and he just doesn't want to be around for it. And so he accepts all these writing retreats and speaker conferences and things like that. And he leaves, he gets out of town and he actually goes abroad. They live in Los Angeles. And so I think in Less is Lost is kind of the same thing. There's something going on in his life. He doesn't want to really deal with it or be around, so he runs away or leaves and gets out of town. And I think in Less is Lost, he heads to the Midwest in the United States and has some interesting experiences in the Midwest. So I will be reading that. I'm excited to continue my journey with Less and see where his antics take him next. And then the other book I'm reading is I do try to read diversely. I read for pleasure. Less is completely just for fun, I think. I mean, it's poignant and there's some moving stuff in it, but it's a fictional, fun read. But I don't read a ton of nonfiction, but I am kind of pushing myself to read nonfiction more often and just read about different experiences and expand my horizons, learn, all of that. And so I'm also reading Invisible Child by Andrea Elliott. And this one won the Pulitzer. And I have an Instagram that I share a lot of stitching, but I also share a lot of books. And originally it was what we call Bookstagram. We had a bookish Instagram account. And I've seen this a lot, or a fair amount. And that's what caught my eye, to see it on Instagram and to see reviews from other people whose tastes I admire in books. And so Invisible Child by Andrea Elliott, this is nonfiction, and Andrea Elliott is a journalist. I think she works for, is it the Wall Street Journal or the Times? The New York Times and the Miami Herald. And so I love reading things by journalists because I actually studied journalism in college and I worked at newspapers for the first about 4 years of my career. I was a copy editor. I wasn't on the streets reporting or writing. I was the one behind the desk editing everything that came in and like laying out the newspaper pages and everything like that. But a lot of admiration and respect for journalists, especially ones who do what Andrea did with this book. So Andrea followed this young girl and her family. Her name is Dasani, from the age of 11 to I think it's 8 years, so to the age of 19. She followed this family for 8 years and wrote about their trials and tribulations living in poverty in New York City. And so they were living in a shelter. She's not the youngest, but she might be the oldest child of 8 children. They're living in a shelter, and Andrea follows her around and writes her story of the struggles of living in that kind of situation in America and really shining a light on the issue of homelessness in our country and in New York City, where it's a city of extremes. You've got very, very, very wealthy people, and a lot of gentrification and a lot of growth and a lot of change. And in the shadow of all that opulence is a young girl like this, who is, you know, from what I've read so far, which is about only 25 pages, she's very smart, and she's living in just the harshest of circumstances. And so I'm excited to read more of this story. You know, it's not a light, fun, happy, or funny read, but it's one of those books that's pretty important. And I will say that Andrea her mother is from Chile, and her father, I think, is white, so she herself is not Black. And so I will see what care she takes with writing about the experience of, you know, a homeless family who's also Black in America. But I think she just writes, you know, the story probably, it interweaves with just homelessness in general as an issue in our country, and the ways that, you know, it's perpetuated, or the ways that our systems can kind of fail those who are living in poverty. I assume I'm only 25 pages in, but, you know, I think we all can know that sometimes we don't always have the strongest, you know, safety net for people who might need it the most. But I always try to read diversely, so I just wanted to point out like her background, and that there's a lot of, I'm sure, Black authors who are writing about the issue of homelessness as well. And it's always important to read from the perspective of the people who actually are living through a situation like that, or have that background, or that yeah. So I'm getting my words mixed up, but I think you all know what I mean. But it's really good so far. I mean, I sat and I was just gonna like start it, and I read 25 pages and didn't look up or look at my phone or anything. And I will say, if you like that kind of thing, like like a reporter really diving deep into a true story and a real story that's very human-centric, I really loved Behind the Beautiful Forevers by Catherine Boo. I think it also won a Pulitzer. That one came out a while ago. I don't want to say a decade, but maybe a decade. I definitely read it in my 20s. And that one, it was Catherine Boo. So Catherine Boo, I don't know what news outlets she wrote for. Maybe the New York Times again, or the Washington Post. Maybe the Washington Post. But she went to India, and she followed another young girl who was living in poverty in India, and her experience living basically in the slums in India, and how beautiful and harsh that existence was. Again, next to some of the, you know, more opulence or the more richer parts of India, with the slums just blocks away of people living in horribly tough, difficult, sad conditions. And that was a beautiful book. So I would recommend that one too. And I think this one is going to be, you know, along a similar vein. So I'll let you know how this one is. But so far, I'm definitely into the story, and glad I picked this one up. So that is my reading for this week. That's all my stitching. That's all my plans. My voice is starting to go a little bit. So thank you all. If you stuck with me this long, thank you so much. Let me know what you're reading. Do you have any book recommendations for me as you're learning what I like? I like a variety of things. So definitely will take any suggestions you might have. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I hope you keep stitching, and I hope you keep reading. Bye.